Welcome to r/IDontWorkHereLady. Here are stories of random people accusing other customers of working at that store and demanding service. If you like this content, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you. Let's get to it. Story number 1. Please, call my manager. It finally happened to me. I was in a popular department store today where the employees wear red shirts and khaki pants. I had just gotten off work, so I was in my grey scrubs and a black jacket because it was cold outside. I think I should add that I had my purse on my shoulder too. Clearly no one with functioning eyes would assume I worked there. You'd be wrong. I'm at the checkout standing in between the 2 rows of checkout lanes where the magazines typically are, looking for my mother who I was shopping with. She says she's going to grab something else and will be right back, so I just stand there for a minute to wait on her. I make eye contact with this lady walking down the aisle, and she asks me which lane I'm on. I said, I believe she's open at register 2. And point. Well, the lady comes up next to me and starts loading her groceries on the belt at the register nearest to where I'm standing, which is unoccupied. So I repeat, I think she's open over there on register 2. She slams down her items on the cart and said, "You're not going to check me out?" "Ma'am, I don't work here." "Well, why would you be standing at a checkout lane if you weren't running a cash register?" I wasn't even standing at a cash register. At this point, I just kind of look at her and think, what the actual frig, lady? She fumes for a minute and says, "So am I supposed to get these groceries back in my cart by myself?" At that point I say, "It's not my responsibility to help you. I'm sorry. I'm waiting on someone," and walk off. I go off to look for my mom, and when we return to the checkout to pay for our items, the lady is there holding up the line and is giving the cashier grief about how the employees back quote just let anyone run a register these days, and that they need a manager who keeps a better eye on the store, while the poor cashier just stands there looking confused. At least my evening wasn't boring. Here's the first comment. I would have let her unload her whole cart and walked away. Here's the next comment. Don't bother checking out. You can have them free. The L. Security. Shoplifter. Here's the next comment. Maybe there's a reason for the lights being turned off, Karen. I remember working as a cashier at a Nation grocery called Solar Food, name changed, and I had just brought my till to the register and my lights weren't even on yet. And they were unloading their items and yelling, "Turn on the conveyor belt. I'm in a hurry. I'm still logging in and stuff." While they're screaming at me, I tell them to wait a bit, but I guess the supervisor saw and immediately flipped my lights on. And not gentle, but firmly shoved me off to the side and told me to bag their items while he rings them up because I was taking too long while there were 3 other lanes open. And then later, when my shift ended and my lights were again off and I'm getting ready to leave, a Karen walks over and flings her items onto the belt to pay. I tell her I'm done for the day. She ignores me and gets the button to make the belt move. I stop the belt and say louder, "I'm done for the day, ma'am." Manager makes me reopen my lane, and a rush of what felt like 50 people immediately rush to my lane, and I'm working an extra 30 minutes with my phone going off because my ride is impatiently waiting for me outside. These people would purposefully throw their cash and change onto the belt, and I'd have to chase or long after the money to prevent them from going under the belt. Because their brats are like, "Wow, what's this button do?" and click and hold, so the belt keeps running. So, I'm short on cash, and I'm getting written up for being 30 cents short than when I started, which is BS. Here's the next comment. I'm so socially retarded, I'd have just let her do her until the point came. She said something to me, then I'd just walk away all freaked out. Here's the next comment. Karen, this random dude who doesn't work here is a terrible employee and I want to talk to your manager. The college student who's working at Target to pay his tuition. By Karen. Story number 2. Yeah, call security, you're in for a surprise. This happened many 22 years ago, so some of the conversation may not be exactly verbatim. Back when I was about 19 to 20 years old, I worked in a UK video game store in a shopping center. Our uniform was a dark aquamarine/green polo shirt with the store name embroidered in purple on the chest and sleeves, and smart black trousers. During my lunch break I would usually just walk around the different stores in the shopping center. I decided to have a look around a hardware store, where their uniform is a bright red polo shirt with the store name emblazoned across the back in bright yellow. I walk into the store, give a nod, and say hi to the security guard as I pass by them. I take a brief wander around the shop just browsing. I look at my watch and head to go back out of the store. In the doorway of this store stand two rather large women, just chatting away blocking the entrance/exit of the store. Now, I'm a very polite person, and I hate confrontation, but I need to get back to work. Here's the cast of characters. Me equals me, B1 equals BH1, B2 equals BH2, SG equals security guard, CC equals CCTV operator. Me, excuse me, can I get past please? I get ignored. I wait a few seconds thinking maybe they'd see me and move. Not a chance, they just keep talking. Me, excuse me, I need to get past. B1 looks at me derisively and carries on her conversation. Me, look, I'm going to be late for work, could you please move? Once again I'm ignored. By now I'm getting pretty fed up. I hate being ignored and despise being late for anything. I raise my voice, just a little bit. Me, will you please get out of the damned doorway? I'm trying to get to work, and you're being incredibly inconsiderate by blocking the doorway to the store. Either step in or outside of the store to carry on your conversation. I need to get past. At this point, they both offer up the huff of the entitled, who think they can do what they please. B1, get lost you arrogant prick, get back to work. B2 smirks smugly at me, and they both carry on chatting away. Me, I'm trying to get back to work, but you are blocking the door. Get your ass out of the way. B1, you can't talk to me like that. Me, I will talk to you however I damned well please. Now get out of my way, you're making me late. I step forward under the assumption she will finally see sense and move. Wrong. At this point I will point out that I'm a scrawny little guy. B1, get away from me. She recoils as if I just gave her a hefty smack in the mouth. At this point B2 sees the security guard and beckons for them to come over. SG, what seems to be the problem here? B2, this horrible man just insulted us and pushed my friend for no good reason. SG, I doubt that. B2, are you calling me a liar? SG, kind of. B2, get me the manager. I want both of you fired. You can't talk to us that way. At this point CC comes out of an office located behind the cash registers and walks over. CC, what's going on? B2, these two employees just assaulted my friend and I want them fired. CC, well, no, they didn't, and I can't do that anyway. B1, how would you know? You've been hiding in your office the whole time. CC, firstly, these are both my kids. My son doesn't even work here. I mean, just look at his shirt. It's not even close to the same color. And my daughter here is the security guard for this store. And I'm the CCTV operator. And I have been watching you the whole time. Now please remove yourself from the doorway so that other people can get in and out of the store before I have security remove you. Note, my sister is the total opposite of me. She is built like an American footballer, and while good-natured and funny, she doesn't take shite from anyone, and is very protective of her siblings. My dad then looks at my sister, who in turn offers the two a smug shite-eating grin. The two women start sputtering and trying to come back with some sort of retort. My sister begins to advance on them, which is quite intimidating. When she's in a bad mood, they give up and slink away. I tell my dad and sister I'll see them at home later, and headed back to work. Luckily it was a quiet day, and after telling my boss the story, he wasn't bothered that I was late back. He had quite a good chuckle about it actually, because he knew my dad and sister as well. Edit/update, just to be clear. This hardware store was very large and my sister was the only security guard on shift at the time, so she couldn't be everywhere at once, since she had to do laps of the store, aisle by aisle, which is why these monstrous harpies managed to occupy the doorway for so long. Here's the first comment. You got to appreciate that OP buried the best part of the story in the story. 10 out of 10 for a great title that draws you in, but doesn't spoil anything. Here's the next comment. Little known fact, this story includes the only time in history that a British person has used the word damned where bloody or freaking could have been used to the same effect. Here's the next comment. Loved the story and the ending. Well, before COVID I absolutely hated people who think the doorway is the perfect place to stop for a chat. I have to say one of the benefits of COVID is that these people don't hang around there anymore that much. Unfortunately, there are still idiots out there. Story number 3. This next story got a lot of angry replies to the OP. Apparently, his story didn't go over very well. Karen demands I work shift for store I don't work for. Few weeks ago, was woken by a phone call at about 5:13 am by some snotty woman demanding I work the weekend when I don't even work for them, or retail for that matter. This is how it all went down. 5:13 am phone wakes me up. Hello. This is Terry from B-Mart. Lucy, you have to work this weekend. Me trying to grasp reality as my brain is still sleeping, and I don't know any Lucy, or this caller Terry. Hey Terry, you dialed wrong number. Lose it please. I hang up the phone and almost drift back to sleep when it rings again and I stupidly answer it. Terry, you hang up on me again, I will fire your butt. You are to work the weekend or find another job. No, she didn't say but, she said much worse. And now I decided to have some fun with this. The result was very lifting, I might add. Caller had a southern accent, so no clue how they could be even calling me to begin with. Me, Terry, if you want me in. It's overtime Saturdays, double time Sundays. I want this in writing, or I will not come in. Figured this would end the call and I could get back to sleep, and only disturbance would be my daughter's cat who decided to pay me a visit and dig her claws into my covers, ignoring the fact she's sharpening them on me. I was dead wrong. I had to listen to Terry give me some spiel on company policy for full-timers and openability. I cut her off in mid-sentence. Terry, I could care less about company policy. You want me to work this weekend, you are paying me what I require, and you're putting this in writing. Also, because you annoyed me by waking me twice, I now will only work double time Saturday and triple time Sundays. Take it or leave it. Oh, don't forget, that's $15 an hour. That means $30 an hour Saturdays, $45 an hour son. I never got to finish saying Sunday, because this is what happened next. Terry, holy shite, I don't even make $15 an hour, why the heck do you? Next thing I know, her yelling attracted other staff and I can hear yelling in the background. Of why the heck does she make $15 and I only get $9? With others in background yelling why is Lucy getting $15? And I could no longer make out who was saying what. Other than Terry telling someone I refuse to come in unless I get OT, which is when some guy takes over the call. This is Bill, the general manager. Lucy, what is this about not coming in unless you get OT? And where the heck are you getting $15 an hour from? Me, you want me in, those are my terms. Stop calling and waking me. I can hear Bill in the background with all the commotion saying, that doesn't sound like Lucy, it sounds like a guy. Me, for that insult it's now triple time the entire weekend. We have a deal? Click. It was then my wife wakes up and asks me what was all that about. Told her it was work calling me to let me know I had the weekend off. I go back to bed, Kitty sleeping on top purring. Here's the first comment. Your joke is going to get Lucy fired. Terry is going to be ticked off and be like, oh now you deny even talking to me because I didn't pay you $45 triple time. You left me short-handed all weekend. You're fired. Call Terry, introduce yourself, explain, apologize. Tell her you don't know Lucy or how much Lucy makes. Don't get Lucy fired. Here's the next comment. Poor Lucy. She probably lost her job because you wanted to have some fun with her idiot manager. Here's the next comment. Wow, what an asshole you are. They told you Lucy would lose her job and you still pulled that show without explaining. Frick you. Here's the next comment. That wasn't funny. That was you playing with someone else's life through no mistake of her own. You should call and explain that to the GM. Why you kept it up with the GM I can't understand. Generally, just crappy dude. Here's the next comment. No offense but you kind of come across as the bad guy here. She probably got fired for this. My comment. To be honest, I think the story is kind of funny. The general manager realized it was a guy. He even said so. It might take a few moments to realize they weren't talking to Lucy, but I'm sure it will all get ironed out. Even if Lucy gets fired, I would say she's probably better off finding another job than working for those incompetent morons. Thanks for listening.